Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 17th April 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see the quote. Quote is, don't count the days, make the days count. So this is a motivational quote. I think this will be helpful for your preparation in these tough times because PRELIMS is very much near. So you have to do some more hard work and try to practice as many practice questions as possible in this time. So please don't take the new topic now. So try to revise whatever the thing you had already done. So revision is the key of success. So it is not that important like how many books you read. So even if you had read one book, so try to revise that 10 times, then you can understand the concept better, and that will also helpful to remember the important facts, right? And now let us try to see today's first article. So Sunday's newspaper is very important to cover current affairs from environment and ecology and even science and technology. So please don't skip this Sunday's newspaper. So at last I am also going to show the PDF of today's newspaper so that I will be also saying you some important other articles which I didn't take for the discussion that may also important from your UPSC point of view. So first topic it is regarding this DGCA, that is Directorate General of Civil Aviation. So DGCA unveils plan to ensure flight safety. So what happened recently, there are many incidents which are happening regarding this flight crashes, not only in India but even we can see number of crashes that happened in Indonesia, especially Boeing flights, right? So now here it is a responsibility of this DGCA, that is Directorate General of Civil Aviation, to take some necessary step to ensure the safety of these flights, right? Because air transport, it is one of the major transport now we are using. And if you're talking about different transportation systems, we have roadways, railways, and as well as waterways, and finally we will be having airways. So airways will be having number of advantages. It will be like very fast mode of traveling, and if you want to go from one continent to another continent, we have to use this airways, right? So here people, they are getting fear because of this flight crashes. So here now DGCA, which mainly came with the plans to ensure this flight safety. So this article is important from your governance point of view. So if you see context, it mainly says that Directorate General of Civil Aviation has rolled out a surveillance mechanism, and in this mechanism they are going to identify non-compliance of flight safety standards. So who are not following or not compliance to this flight safety standards, and after identifying them they will be going to give some alert. Okay, alert the authorities concerned for taking urgent corrective action to resolve the deficiencies. So if there is any deficiency means they will be giving some alert to those authorities, and that will be helpful for resolving of these deficiencies. So if you see details, it mainly says that the comprehensive surveillance program, which is mainly involving experts, and these experts are mainly from the different fields like scheduled airlines, non-scheduled air operators, aircraft maintenance organizations, design and manufacturing organizations, flying training institute, etc. So these all will be covered under this comprehensive surveillance program. And these guidelines, which mainly issued in 2009, and later on we came up with revising and as well as reissuing of these guidelines on Friday. So if you're talking about these guidelines, they are commonly and as well as they are primarily focusing on initiative to find any significant non-compliance which lowers the safety standards and affect seriously this flight safety. So here whenever these rules or these standards which are mainly not followed means that will be having some impact on the safety of that flight, and that will be mainly affecting this flight safety, that will also lead to crashes of this flight, right? So these deficiencies that would be conveyed in a standard deficiency reporting form, and this form which mainly explains the issue and it also specify the reference of regulatory provision against which observation was made, and the airline or agency which mainly concerned that would respond promptly by providing a solution to rectify the systemic deficiency. So it will be helpful for rectifying the systemic deficiencies as well. and the airline will be given a maximum of 45 days to take the corrective steps. To take the corrective steps, they are going to get maximum of 45 days of time, and any significant non-compliance of safety standard which is identified means then they will be going for normally periodic checks, okay, periodic inspections, spot checks and safety audits. They should be addressed immediately. So whenever they are going for these inspections, checks and as well as safety audits, so if they found any deficiency or present, they need to rectify those deficiencies immediately. And in the case organizations were not in a position to implement corrective measures within a specific period of time frame of 30 days for justified reasons, then this DGCA at its discretion, it may also grant further 15 days. So the time period here is 30 days. So if they are not in a position to implement these measures within this 30 days means, so they can grant, okay, DGCA can grant further 15 days. And if they want to give this time period further 15 days means they have to submit justifiable reasons. And if you are talking about some facts regarding this DGCA stands for Directorate General of Civil Aviation. So actually it is an office which mainly attached to Ministry of Civil Aviation, and this DGCA, it is a regulatory body in this field of civil aviation, and it mainly deals with safety issues of these flights, and it is also responsible for regulation of air transport services to or from within India, and for enforcement of civil air regulation. It is also helpful for air safety, airworthiness standards as well, and it also coordinates all regulatory functions with international civil aviation organization. So these are some important facts. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding child line number 1098, which is regarding with this mission Vatsalya. And this child line may be merged with emergency helpline 112. So here we need to know about what is this child line 1098, and we need to know about what is this mission Vatsalya and what this article talking about. So before seeing this article, now let us try to see this infographic. So if you see this infographic, it mainly says that responder in distress. So this child line number 1098, it is 24/7 free emergency helpline for children who are in distress. Actually, this project was started by Zero Billy Moria at Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. Actually, under this helpline, about 50 lakh calls have been answered by Childline, and about 3.95 lakh children, they were provided emergency assistance in 2020 to 2021, and there are about 6 call centers. 6 call centers have been established in 5 cities. For example, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai and as well as Bangalore. And here about 598 districts have the helplines present through a network of intervention units. So these are some highlights of this child line number. So now let us try to see the context. So this child line number 1098 is the country's only dedicated helpline number for children, and the entire child rights sector relies on it. Okay, so entire child rights sector which may relies on this number, and through this number they are going to provide some assistance to the children, because today the children, they are mainly facing some distress due to this COVID-19 pandemic. And actually this child line number 1098, it is going to be merged with this national emergency helpline 112. So if you see some details, it mainly says that, so this child line number 1098, it is a 24/7 emergency number, and through this free phone outreach for children who are in distress, and it is one of the world's biggest emergency helpline services, and these services which are mainly dedicated to children, right? And if you're talking about civil society organization, they are worried about the future after the government in its recent draft guidelines for Mission Vatsalya scheme for this child protection services said that Childline will be integrated with this universal emergency helpline number 112. So because of this merging of this Childline number with this national emergency number, so there might be these children, they are not going to these children issues are not going to address properly. So because of this, now civil society organizations, they are mainly worrying about this thing. And the draft guidelines of this Ministry of Women and Child Development says that detailed standard operating procedure, that is SOP, on this helpline will be issued separately. So now under this Ministry of Women and Child Development, so draft guidelines, okay, they are going to be released, and they are mainly going to talk about the standard operating procedure. And if you see, the Minister for Women and Child Development said that administrative control of this child line will be transferred to Ministry of Home Affairs. So it is also one cause of concern. Right, so now let us try to talk about what is this Mission Vatsalya. So if you are focusing on this Mission Vatsalya, so the important objective of this Mission Vatsalya, it is to ensure a healthy and as well as a happy childhood for every child in India. So they are mainly focusing on childhood, and it mainly focuses on service delivery structures. It mainly focuses on institutional care or services, non-institutional or community-based care, emergency outreach services, training and capacity building, child protection services, and as well as child welfare services. So these are some important focus areas under this Mission Vatsalya. So now let us try to see the next topic. So the next topic, it is about green project will add life to Rajasthan Park. Okay, so it is mainly talking about this green project. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So actually this topic, it is very important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under this GS paper 3. So now let us try to know about this topic. So here we need to know about what is this green project and where this is implemented. It is implemented in Desert National Park of Rajasthan. So you have to know some facts regarding this Desert National Park, and you have to see location. So apart from that, in Rajasthan, how many national parks are there and where are their locations is also important now. So now let us try to see the context. So if you see context, it mainly says that Green Agriculture Park, which is mainly funded by FAO, that is Food and Agriculture Organization. So this green agriculture project, which is mainly funded by Food and Agriculture Organization, it is a global environment facility. So this project, which mainly acts as a lifeline for this Desert National Park. So actually this Desert National Park, it is one of the important ecosystem of Thar Desert. So it is one of the important ecosystem of Thar Desert, which is present in this Rajasthan. Right. So this Desert National Park, which is mainly located in Western Rajasthan. Okay. So we need to focus on conservation of critical biodiversity and as well as forest landscape. Okay. So this green agriculture project, which is mainly funded by FAO, and it is mainly acting as a lifeline for this Desert National Park located in Rajasthan. Right. And it will be focusing on conservation of critical biodiversity and as well as forest landscape. So if you are focusing on some important details, it mainly says that action plans for each village in the region are being prepared with involvement of local rural communities. So in this project, they are also including this local rural communities. So whenever these local rural communities are included, then only that will lead to the success of this program. And the environmentalists in the state, they have called for developing the grasslands of vast tracts in this Desert National Park, and they are focusing for areas of grazing of these animals, and this is they are also going for conservation of cultivated land and as well as irrigated land. Okay, so here they are mainly focusing on developing of grasslands in this Desert National Park that will be helpful for conservation of number of rare species. And actually this Desert National Park, which mainly situated near Jaisalmer and as well as Barmer, and it mainly covers about 3,162 square kilometers. And in this desert park, we can say sand dunes will be present. So sand dunes means nothing but it is one of the landform which mainly created by the wind. As you all know, in the desert we will be having sand. So whenever winds are moving with high speed, so the sand which is present in this place will be displaced and it will be deposited in another place, and it will be forming like a heap of sand, that is called as sand dunes. So sand dunes mainly comprise about 20% of this park. And the village wise action plans, they will also support the rural populations traditional methods of water management. So we're talking about water management methods, we will be having Kadins and as well as Tankas in this region. Actually this program will be completed by March 2026 and the cost here is about 31 crore. So what all the things which mainly included in this project? So they will be focusing on agriculture and allied sectors, they will be focusing on forestry and natural resources management, and they will be focusing on economic development of this desert national park. Right. So these activities that will be helpful for bringing of resilience in this agriculture sector. And they are also going for conservation of some important flora. They will be going for conservation of fauna, and they will be also going for management of traditional forest, for example Oran, and they will be also focusing on grazing areas, water harvesting structures like Kadin and as well as Tankas. So if we are talking about national park which is located in the state of Rajasthan, here this yellow color part, it is our desert national park. Here we have Sarsika National Park, here we have Ranthambore National Park, and here we have Keoladeo National Park. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding center extends tenure of green permits. So it is mainly talking about green permits of projects. And this topic is important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And if you are talking about context, it mainly says that if you want to come up with any infrastructure projects or developmental projects, so we need to have a clearance. Okay, that is also called as norms. So these norms should be met. These norms are given by Union Environment Ministry. So now this article says that easing norms for infrastructure projects, the Union Environment Ministry has extended the tenure of environmental clearance granted for existing or new projects. So actually whatever the environment clearance that is going to be given in this new projects or already given in this old projects, so they are going to extend the tenure of this environment clearances. So if you see details, it mainly says that the environment clearance for the river valley projects will now have 13-year validity. Okay, they will be having 13-year validity, and nuclear power projects, they will be having validity of about 15 years. And the projects and activities, they are other than the mining and river valley projects, they will be having this environment clearance which is valid up to 10 years. And if you are talking about why this move which is mainly taken, so the ministry which mainly said that in its gazette notification, the nuclear power plants and hydropower projects, they had high gestation period because of geological surprises. So there will be some delays which will be happening in the forest clearances, land acquisition process, local issues, rehabilitation, resettlement, etc. So because of this, there is a need of extension of validity of this environment clearances. So if we are talking about this environment clearances, to get this environment clearance, it is not an easy process, it is a very long drawn process. So if you are talking about this environment clearances, it is a long drawn process that is mandatory for the projects beyond a certain size and often involves environment impact assessment for potential project and sometimes public hearings also involving the local populace who might be affected by the project. So to get this environment clearance, it is not at all easy process. It is a very long drawn process, and it also says that it is very much mandatory that if there is a project which is of large in size or if it is involving some environment impact, so they need to go for environmental impact assessment and finally they can get this clearances. So if you are talking about other projects, when we are considering the time taken for addressing of local concerns and even environment related issues, and implementation of such projects will be become very long, okay, such that there is a need of extension of validity. And one of the conditions of an environment clearance, it is that the project must begin construction in a period that has been granted an environment clearance, and if unable, then the fresh process must begin. Here what is this point says? So if I am getting environment clearance for so and so project means, so within that time limit I have to begin my construction. So if I am not begin my construction because of some bank issues, or if I am not getting proper finances or the loans means, so if that period is completed means again I have to start the fresh process. So because of this, the projects are going to be delayed and that will be also not financially viable, right? So this is also an important cause of concern. So if we are talking about mining leases, so mining leases are now granted for a period of 30 years, but environment clearance, it is valid for 30 years. And now the central government which mainly deems it necessary to align the validity of mining environment clearances, which is currently permissible to a maximum duration of 30 years. Okay, and they can go for review and as well as they can go for reissuing here. So now this is about this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding iron deficiency. So iron is very important for the proper functioning of body. So if you're talking about anemia, so anemia which is mainly caused because of one of the reason here is iron deficiency. So because of iron deficiency, we can see that will leads to anemia, but it is not only the sole reason, right? So you have to remember this point. So this article is important from your science and technology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that with Indian vegetarian diet consisting of about 8.5 mg of iron, okay, per about 1000 kilocalories of energy. So in vegetarian diet, whatever the food we are taking, so in that food we are going to get 8.5 mg of iron per 1000 kilocalories of energy. And women who adequately eat, that is enough energy for the sedentary lifestyle, should have an iron intake of about 15 mg per day. Okay, so they need iron intake of 15 mg per day, and matching their daily iron requirement, it should be like a 15 mg per day. So adult men with lower iron requirement, that is about 11 mg per day, and those eating for an active lifestyle with higher energy intake are even better off. And because of this, we can say that dietary iron deficiency is not a major problem, nor we can say like iron deficiency is a common cause for the deficiency anemia in India. It is not only the one cause. Okay, even other nutrients like vitamin B12, folate, protein is also very much important. They are also related to this anemia. So when body which is mainly having some iron deficiency means it is less likely to be due to an iron deficient diet, but we can say because of poor absorption of our dietary iron also, it is one of the cause. So even though if you are taking this iron rich foods, so that iron which is not absorbed into our body means it will be wasted, right? So here our body iron deficiency which is not only occurring by intake, but it is also related to poor absorption in the body. So with poor cereal based diets, iron is not well absorbed here. Okay, so with poor cereal based diet, iron is not well absorbed because a substance called as phyllate. Okay, so a substance called as phyllate, that it is present in the cereal grains. So this phyllate which mainly binds to dietary iron and mainly decreases this absorption of this iron. Okay, so why there is decreasing of absorption of iron? So because there is a one substance called as phyllate. So this phyllate which is mainly binds tightly to the dietary iron, and that mainly leads to decreasing of absorption. So if you are talking not only this phyllate thing, but even if you are drinking tea and as well as if you are taking pan after the meals, that will also block this iron absorption because they will be acting as inhibitory substances. Okay, for example polyphenols like that. So even not only this, if you are having chronic inflammation in your body, so that chronic inflammation also decreases or also blocks this iron absorption from the intestine. So this iron absorption blockade that can be overcome by eating fruits like vitamin C rich foods with your meals. And you have to simply change your behavior, like avoid taking tea or coffee after meals or with the meals. And alternatively, dietary iron intake could be increased in a natural manner by eating iron rich grains like millets, which can increase iron intake naturally. And next one is we can promote using of millet consumption in both adults and as well as children. So that will be one of the important and rich source of iron. And not only this, millets are having high content of iron, but even they are also rich in calcium, zinc, magnesium, potassium, dietary fiber, and even they are source for important vitamins like thiamine, that is B1, riboflavin, folic acid, and as well as niacin. So millets are therefore a great solution for increasing of dietary iron density, and it will be also efficiently providing good nutritional diet. And if you are just replacing 100 grams of your dairy cereals like rice with this finger millets like ragi, means that will helpful to increase your iron content. There is 50% of more iron and about 350% of more calcium. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding breath test for COVID-19. So FDA, Food and Drug Administration, authorities first breath test for authorizes first breath test for this COVID-19. So this article, which is mainly talking about inspect IR COVID-19 breath analyzer. So this topic is important from your science and technology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to see context. So Food and Drug Administration has issued an emergency use authorization for what is said that this is the first device that can detect COVID-19 in breath samples of humans. So from the breath samples, okay, so breathing includes inhalation and as well as exhalation. So whenever we are exhaling air outside, that will also carrying some this virus particles, because in aerosols we know that yes, this virus particles and virus which is present in the aerosols. So this is the device which is mainly going to detect this COVID-19 in the breath samples of humans. So if you see some details, it mainly says that the Inspect IR COVID-19 breath analyzer is about the size of a piece of carry-on luggage, this FDA said, and it can be used in doctors' offices, hospitals, mobile testing sites. Okay, so this is about this Inspect IR COVID-19 breath analyzer. So the test, which provides the results in less than 3 minutes, and it must be carried out under the supervision of a licensed health care provider. And FDA on April 14 said that this device, Inspect IR COVID-19 breath analyzer, it was 91.2% accurate in identifying this positive test samples and 99.3% accurate at identifying this negative test samples. And this Inspect IR COVID-19 breath analyzer is expected to be able to produce approximately 100 instruments per week, okay, and it can evaluate about 160 samples per a day. So this is about this topic, and this is the image. And now let us try to see next topic is regarding thermal batteries. So this article is important regarding science and technology, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So researchers, they have achieved a nearly 30% of jump in the efficiency of thermophotovoltaic, which mainly converts photons emitted from the heat source to electricity. Actually here, whenever the photons are released, okay, photons are nothing but these are the particles which are mainly present in the sunlight. So in the light we will be having these photons. So these photons will be emitted by the heat source, and that is converted into electricity. Okay, so researchers achieved that there is 30% of increase in the efficiency of this thermophotovoltaic. So if you are talking about details, it mainly says that, so this idea, it is to feed surplus wind and as well as solar electricity to a heating element. Then we can use this thermophotovoltaics to convert this heat into electricity. So now let us try to see next topic is regarding role of climate. So this article is important from your environment and ecology. So why it is in news? So record-breaking simulation of past 2 million years of Earth's climate, which mainly provides evidence of what is the relationship between temperature and other planetary conditions. They are mainly influenced by early human migration, okay, and they mainly led to the contribution for emergence of modern day human species around 3 lakh years ago. So if we are talking about details, it mainly says that, so it is one of the important proof that is helpful to support the role of climate in the shaping of human ancestry. Yes, in the shaping of this human ancestry, so we evolved from the apes, right? So from apes there was a homo, there were different levels of humans, they mainly came up into picture. So if you type this human evolution image in the Google, then you will be getting different stages. So that will be very important. And if you are from anthropology background, I think there is no need of explaining of human evolution, right? Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let's try to see yesterday's questions. So first question is regarding Shankaracharya teachings. So Shankaracharya advocated Advaita, yes, and he preached Upanishad doctrine of salvation through knowledge, yes. So that option will be both 1 and 2. And next question is regarding monotheistic movements of medieval India. So actually these monotheistic movements, which are mainly belonging to low caste people, not upper caste. So this first statement is incorrect. And this one is, they got influenced in one way or the other by varying degree by Vaishya concept of Bhakti, Natanpanthi movement and as well as Sufism, yes, and they criticize superstition and orthodox elements of both Hinduism and Islam, yes. So that option will be 2 and 3. And today's questions are, the first one, it is regarding Sufism, and second question is regarding Delhi Sultanate's architecture. So try to read these questions and try to give me the correct options in the comment box. So I want to give you a small announcement in this platform. We came up with this mains answer writing practice course. So this is very useful, and the registrations of this course is going to be ended by today. So if you want to join this course, so please contact us on this number 8074765513. Okay, so this is our WhatsApp number also. You can message me on this number, and if you have any queries, you can call me on this number. So apart from that, we are ready to launch this pen drive courses for this entire foundational course of 2023. So if you have any doubts, you can call us on this number for the enrollment to this courses. So now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. Yes, this is today's Hindu, and the date given here is April 17th, and this is Delhi edition. So if you see the first article, I discussed regarding this child line number. And if you move forward, here you can see one article regarding this Punjab. So Punjab announces 300 units of free electricity. So the newly elected Punjab government announced that 300 units of free electricity per month, they will be given for this every household in the state. That will be implemented from the July 1st. Okay, so this is the one important thing that you have to remember. And regarding this DGCA flight safety, I discussed this topic. And leave the city page. And if you move forward, in the states page, you can see this green project. I discussed this topic in this desert national park, and I also showed the location of this desert national park. And this sixth page, you can see Russian frigate delivery on time. Okay, so it is talking about second regiment of this S-400 to arrive by this year end, and now actually we got this Russian frigate delivery. You can read this topic. And yesterday it was Hanuman Jayanti, as I said. So there are a number of articles regarding this Hanuman Jayanti in this today's newspaper. And there is one more article, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act slapped on temple attack accused. So what happened? The stringent Unlawful Activities Prevention Act has been invoked against the accused in this Gorakhnath temple attack case. So here you need to know about what is this UAPA, and already we discussed this topic number of times. So it is a time to revise. This is your homework. And if you move forward, in this 8th page, you can see Central Extended Tenure for Green Permits. I discussed this topic. And next topic here is early summer, a boon for Himachal tourism. So because of high temperature that is mainly seen, so people, they will be liking to go to hill stations. There will be the less temperature. So here, because of this early summer, that led to boost for this Himachal tourism. And next topic is regarding India objects to methodology used in WHO assessment of COVID death toll. So you can refer this topic once. And there is one article regarding this Yemen's Houthi rebels criticize US-led task force in Red Sea. So here you need to know that these Houthis are located in Yemen, and you need to know about the countries that are sharing boundary with this Red Sea and where this Red Sea is present. You have to see the location of this Red Sea on the map. And if you see the science and technology page, I discussed this thermal batteries, I discussed about this role of climate, I discussed about this breath test, and I discussed about this millets. So these are some important articles from the science and technology page. And if you see this FAQ, so first article is regarding, so what fueling inflation in this rural India. So already we discussed this topic. And about the Sri Lanka crisis also we discussed. And in yesterday's lecture we studied about this wheat exports to England. So these are some important articles that appeared in this today's newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. So if you have any queries, please call us on this number 8074765513. Okay. By this I am concluding. Thank you so much.